We've got finished fermenter beer here. It's getting towards the end of the fermentation, around about 2 days off. What we can do is what's a popular practice these days is dry hopping beer. So dry hopping involves adding hop pellets to the fermenting beer at the latter stages. Why we add it at the latter stages of the fermentation is after all the CO2's evolved out of the fermentation, or most of it, then we can add the hops, and that way all the hop aromas and that will not be driven off by the CO2 coming out of solution. Dry hopping is an option. Within a Black Rock brew kit, there's generally bitterness and not a lot of aroma. So we recommend if you want a style with a lot of hop aroma that you add dry hop. So a good starting point with dry hopping is 3 grams per litre. So within a 20 litre to 23 litre batch like this, we'd be looking at around 60 to 70 grams of hops. We're adding hops in a pelletised format. That's typical of what you can buy at a home brew shop. We have 60 grams of hops there. It's as simple as opening up your fermenter and just adding them into the top. It's that easy. Putting the top back on. So as I said, we're doing that sort of with about 2 days to go in your fermentation, and that allows for the hops to infuse and the aroma and flavours to come out into the beer. So we showed you the most simplest form, and it does have some issues with particles within your beer and maybe coming through into your packaging process. So another option is to use something as simple as this cage here that holds the hops. What one would do is sanitise this with just with alcohol, fill it with your hops, and then drop it into your beer, and that would sit in there. So that holds all the hops within the cage. After fermentation, so with the clarifying and our cold cooling of our fermenter, the hops will just settle out onto the bottom of the fermenter, and they will be discarded at a later point. Probably with dry hopping, you probably need another extra day or two of settling, so you don't want those coming through into your bottled beer. There's more options than just hops and flavouring. There's a multitude of flavours that can be added by various means. A recipe that we have on our Black Rock site is a coffee infused porter. So we're using coffee beans that we also recommend we put into one of these cages and add it into the beer, and that will impart a coffee aroma and flavour over 2 to 3 days. We recommend just steeping in alcohol briefly, and also the cage that the beans are going to go into is sprayed or steeped in alcohol, and then that's put into the fermented beer. There's plenty of options out there. Spices are quite common if you're creating some sort of winter warmer where you're putting cinnamon or star anise or something like that into a brew. There's potential issues with adding natural fruit. They do harbour a lot more microbes that could contaminate your beer, so they're a little bit more difficult to handle, and there's a little bit more risk with using those. But there's certain flavours, processed fruit flavours and that, concentrates that can be added and to create a multitude of different styles. Black Rock gives us a great kit. We produce great beer from that, but over and above that, you've got plenty of opportunities to add all sorts of further ingredients to make your own customised style. We have over 20 different SKUs that give the home brewer every opportunity to mix and match and be creative.